but today we'll look at exclusive breastfeeding. So exclusive breastfeeding, it's feeding the baby on breast milk alone without any other food, not even water, unless medicine prescribed by medical practitioners. Otherwise, exclusive breastfeeding talks about breast milk and breast milk alone being fed to the baby. So now, let's look at this art of exclusive breastfeeding. It's one of the recommendations that we have passed as Zambia. For us, actually, to see child survival or to promote the health, the growth and development of the children, we need to practice exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life. So in Zambia, we have recommended 6 months because we've seen the benefits. We know that breastfeeding alone, in totality, of course, breastfeeding including early insertion, exclusive breastfeeding, as well as continued breastfeeding. But for now, I'm talking about exclusive breastfeeding, which is a very good practice that we have recommended as Zambia. It provides the necessary nutrients that the baby will need for growth and development. As I said in the beginning, that there's no need for the baby to have water. Some mothers or some parents, they do add water to say, no, the baby is crying, we need to give the baby a bit more of water. The breast milk itself contains water. 80% about that, it's water. 80% of breast milk contains water. So if you breastfeed exclusively the baby who is below 6 months, you'll find that this baby won't even feel thirsty. And again, this same breast milk, it has a lot of nutrients that will make the baby grow. That first of all will even satisfy the baby. The baby won't feel hungry. As long as you feed the baby adequately, you breastfeed on the same breast milk and feed so frequently and regularly so that the baby, once it's satisfied, of course the baby will stop breastfeeding on his or her own. So breast milk alone, it's a perfect feed or perfect food for the baby from 0 up to 6 months. There's no need for all parents. We encourage all parents, whether you are working or not working outside home, you need to feed the baby with breast milk alone. Some parents may talk of probably you are away from work and then you are away from home and from the baby, then you need, what food can you give to the baby? Of course, we have another action that you need to express the breast milk and store it for the baby. Sometimes we start expressing late. We know that breast milk can stay outside the fridge for good 8 hours. If one doesn't have the fridge, you can express the milk that can be fed to the baby within the period of 8 hours. Sorry, I said 8 weeks, 8 hours. It can stay outside the fridge for 8 hours. And then for those who may have started expressing their breast milk early, probably in the first week after delivery or second month, you can still continue expressing. You express the milk and keep it in the deep freezer. The milk, the breast milk, can stay in the deep freezer for the period of 6 months. And that milk, it's good. You can even feed it to the baby. Of course, you can use the first in, first out. Meaning that the milks that you expressed earlier, the breast milk that you expressed earlier, you give it to the baby before it reaches the 6 months. We are not saying that let it stay for 6 months and then thereafter that's when you start feeding. No, it should be fed within that time frame of 6 months. So even if you are working and you leave your baby at home, it is very important that you express your milk. Sometimes you can do it in the night, especially I know you need to rest, but this is a shorter period of time. As a breastfeeding mother, you can express the milk in the night and keep it in the fridge or outside the fridge, so that when you are away at work and the baby is home, you'll be able, the people who are taking care of the baby will be able to feed the baby using your breast milk. Why are we saying breast milk is the best? And it should be the only food that should be given to the baby during this period before the baby reaches 6 months. We all know the benefits that the baby who is breastfed on breast milk alone grows very healthy. You avoid infections like ear infections, diarrheas, you know, all those infections that some of the children actually suffer from. You are likely to reduce the risk, even the severity, in case a child suffers from maybe diarrhea. So the baby who is breastfed exclusively, you'll find that this baby, even the severity of any disease that may infect the baby, will be reduced. And for if anything, the risk is reduced for them to catch an infection, like the examples I've given of ear infection, diarrheas, those will be reduced tremendously. So please, let's exclusive or feed our babies on breast milk and breast milk alone for the period of 6 months, from the time the baby is born until the baby attains the 6 months of age. So this is the message for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that was the nutrition corner, just telling us about what we should be eating and that we should be giving to our children as regards healthy foods. So that was the first segment on today's lunchtime cafe on Camnet TV, broadcasting to you on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and channel 106 on a Top Star. Those are the channels you can catch us on. We are also live on our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV, and also not forgetting our YouTube channel, which is also Camnet TV. So those are the platforms you can catch us on if you want to follow the proceedings of this particular program. Now we are getting into the other segment. Now this segment is called the Emerging Stories segment. This is a segment where we give you hints of the stories that we do expect to make the feature in our evening news at 19:30 tonight. So we start with a story which talks about mines, and this one says a consortium of civil society organizations championing the revamping of the mining industry says it will engage President Hakainde Hichilema over the future of Konkola copper mines, KCM, and Mopani copper mines. Now the consortium says it is disappointed that the Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Paul Kabuswe, has lamentably failed to deal with issues at KCM and Mopani mine. Now, advocates for National Development and Democracy, Executive Director Samuel Banda, has told journalists in Lusaka that President Hakainde Hichilema has a strong capacity to efficiently negotiate negotiating skills to expedite the process and ensure that these issues and challenges in the mining sector are resolved. So that's the story there about the mines on the copper belt, KCM, and of course Mopani copper mines, issues to do with revamping the two mines. Now let's move on. That's one of the stories that we expect to see tonight on our evening menus. And let's move on now. The Lusaka City Council LCC has noted with displeasure that some council workers are dubiously collecting money from business owners despite them not being revenue collectors. Now, LCC Public Relations Officer Nyambe Bulumba says the most targeted in this scam are both local and foreign businesses who have been running businesses without documentation from the local authority. Now, the said unscrupulous council individuals target business owners without documentation such as business permit, fire certificate, a business levy, among others, and charge them exorbitantly in the pretext of not having their business ventures closed. So that's another story talking about council workers that are duping people out of their money, and the council is expressing concern there. We do expect also the details of this particular story at 19:30, so do ensure that you tune in to the Camnet TV menus at 19:30 today, so that you get the details of that particular story. Another story that we expect in the news is the United Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia, UPPZ, leader Charles Chanda has called on government to urgently address the soaring meal prices in the country. Now, Mr. Chanda says the rising prices are negatively impacting businesses and livelihoods of many Zambians. Now, he notes that following reports that restaurant owners in Ndola are feeling the pressure as they cannot realize profits from their sales due to the increasing meal prices. Now, to compensate for the rising costs, restaurants have had to increase their meal prices, which has resulted in reduced patronage and losses. So that's another story there that we expect to have in full at exactly 19:30 this evening as we give to you our main news. Those are the emerging stories, and our reporters are on the ground making sure that they get the full details of those particular stories, so that we do have them at 19:30 just for you in our main news. We now get into the next segment, and this segment is called the Forgotten Stories segment, and shortly after this break we are going to be getting into the details of that particular segment.
Hello Zambia. Greetings to all soccer-loving Zambians. I'm Dr. Sten Pusi from the Czech Republic, and I will bring with me soccer agent Mr. Jakub Skibík and the coach Mr. Pavel Ondračka, both from the Czech Republic as well. The Football League in the Czech Republic is a qualitative and competitive league in the world. Knowing that, there are a lot of highly talented footballers in Zambia. All of us will be visiting Zambia from the 2nd to 6th of August 2023 in partnership with Camnet Football Academy. Agent and coach will come to Lusaka, Zambia. to look at promising young Zambian players. Chances are that hard-working players may get engagement in the Czech Republic and including other European leagues. We look forward to seeing you at the tournament, which will be organized by Pastor Moses Chiruba of Camnet Television. See you soon!
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you very much. So now we are into another segment which we call the Forgotten Stories segment. Now on this particular segment, we give you stories that used to happen a few years back, just to refresh your memories on where we have come from as regards happenings in this country. Now we start in 2020, and on this day in that particular year, government kicked off the issuance of national registration cards. Let's have a look at this.
One of the mobile registration of national registration cards managed by the Ministry of Home Affairs has today, the 1st of August, commenced. Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo has flagged off the mobile issuance of NRCs. The Home Affairs Minister says government is committed to rolling out the issuance of NRCs ahead of the forthcoming voter registration exercise. Due to the COVID-19, which is a global health pandemic, the process of mobile issuance of NRCs ahead of the voter registration was earmarked for October 2020.
As you may be aware, on the 3rd July of 2020, I issued the ministerial statement in Parliament, where I announced that the Ministry of Home Affairs, through the Department of National Registration, Passport and Citizenship, was going to conduct the mobile issuance of national registration cards beginning on the 1st of August 2020. The ministry had planned, like we have worked, to commence mobile issuance of national registration cards in the 2nd quarter of 2020. However, due to the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic, the commencement of the mobile registration exercise was postponed to this month, August of 2020. Today is 1st of August and the exercise is commencing. As I indicated in my ministerial statement in Parliament, government has taken a phased approach with phase 1 focusing on northern, Luapula, Copperbelt, northwestern and eastern provinces, where we anticipate that at least 770,000 NRCs will be issued.
The minister said government is keen to roll out the exercise to capture as many unregistered Zambians as possible. Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
So that is a story there taken from 2020, and it was talking about the issuance of national registration card as it was being launched by the then Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Kampyongo, who was launching that particular exercise. Let's move on. In the same year 2020, the Healing Word Ministries International received a donation of 20 pockets of cement. Let's have a look at this.
The successful actualization of any plan or project requires concerted efforts from various stakeholders and well-wishers who understand the vision of one's agenda. It is for this reason that Partners in Mission Workers Saturday decided to visit different men of the collar by donating building materials. The mission, whose patron is President Edgar Lungu, focuses on uplifting the men and women of God by ensuring that their doors are open to people who may wish to come to their aid. Consequently, the mission has donated 20 bags of cement to Healing Word Ministries International, which is headed by Pastors Moses and Victoria Chiluba. Reverend Serge Changa is chairman for the mission.
As part of our program, we want to partner because the government of His Excellency has provided a platform where he wants the church to participate in the development of the country. And we cannot just be preaching the word without looking at the social and material needs of the people. And this is why, sir, we are doing what we are doing. We expect to do even more. The main purpose is to see how we can empower retired and even serving clergy, most of whom don't even have houses of their own. So as the President was saying, where we have come from, it is to hand over the same cement for projects to build their own houses. And we are expecting some 23 plots that will do here in Lusaka. Yes. Last time, of course, we even gave a house in Mporokoso, which we completed. But that's just a process we want to go on. In our little way, we want to see how the church can partner with the government of the day and the community for development.
And Healing Word Ministries International overseer Pastor Moses Chiluba is grateful to the mission for thinking about them.
What you saw, that the building is not finished, because now we've gone into TV. So part of the budget now is going into TV to keep the nation updated. But that said, please convey our thanks and appreciation. And I would like to invite the Zambians. I would like to, you see, the good thing about my wife and I, we are not into politics. That's a good part. But I like politics. I talk about politics, so we are so grateful. Any progressive idea that will build our nation will be part of it. So, Reverend, Camnet is your home.
Amen. Amen.
If you are going to Mongu, you are going to somewhere, just give us a few minutes and we'll open up, because we are about building the nation of Zambia.
The organization intends to construct 1,000 houses for both retired clergy and those still serving across the country.
We cannot give everything, but we know to partner with people who have a vision. It's like we are also part of the vision. Yes, and then this vision we are trying to align to, when you look at the partners, the patron, the Republican President, Edgar Lungu, is with you in trying to search for who would be partners. Now he has partnered with the church. And then we are looking at Zambia as a Christian nation.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
So that's another story that we picked from 2020 when the Healing Word received a donation. Now moving on, in 2021, the President then Edgar Lungu visited Mbala, where he toured some construction projects and also paid a courtesy on the traditional leaders in that particular province. Let's have a look at this.
Government of the Republic of Zambia, under the leadership of President Edgar Lungu, has witnessed massive infrastructure developments. The developments have been received with various criticism by stakeholders who question the durability of some of the infrastructure projects. President Lungu, who inspected the sanitation project in Mbala district, has challenged Zambians to take interest in projects that are under construction in their area. The president says citizens have a right to monitor and question projects if they feel they are not being done properly by a contractor.
They should cooperate support the engineers on site, the government system, so that at the end of the day we expedite the work. What we see is sometimes few pressure from the figures, but I don't think you're experiencing that problem here. That's perspective. I think we should be on people.
There are no people who have been closed around this place.
Right.
So basically this was strategically positioned, because we had the people from Zema to approve the positioning of this sewer pond. Upon approval, that's when the commencement of works started. Without an approval, we could have not gone ahead.
And President Lungu proceeded to meet traditional leaders in the area. The president has since appealed to traditional leaders to support a leader who will bring development in the country and not division.
atwala ukuyantha spantan kudura aba nemushina bashamfumu akathala masibantu abafayo ukuyantha ngira bonkomshilo kuthina abantu awusende abakala mushi eba ishuka tapanomba kwena chababwina imrenda bwina strength so nalo mbukati nomulesala masala bayamuke abakwati kabomba nabo bakamishe kunuma ukuzana ukati no one should be left behind bashamfumu nemushi abashima people.
And traditional leaders have pledged to continue rallying behind President Lungu and his running mate Professor Nkanduluwo in the coming August general elections.
To request you, ili twala pita patuo, gaya pita fetuo, mwachitako na seto palia. Mwatu hivu kishabu kuti tika tule shala, teti fichitika fionse pamo. Communication, utumatawazi mwatulundi la kufa fine kwa tuachitako improve ka communication. Please look into that. Our communication in some areas is still very bad, but we just need that to improve. Mwatuwikisha kono utuma transport.
Twalilanda pamulandi wa kuvota wino tatulefu efyongo kuno. Efyongo twalifikana. Although natuisha tama areas yamo kwale befyongo lero tuwebeba kutatawo ifwe tulefu tukachimfanye fe kuivote noti kufyongo.
The head of state also took time to condemn the violence that has continued to characterize the campaign period, where he assured traditional leaders that he will work with the Zambian police to ensure that law and order is brought back into the country. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Now, in the same year 2021, the UPND demanded answers on some consignment that came together with the ballot papers. Let's have a look at this.
They owe this country an explanation. And this time we're writing a letter to Emirates, the airline that brought the ballot papers, for them to explain how cargo that was not on the manifest could find itself in the boxes where the ballot papers are. Where did these funds come from? Who is the consigner? Who is the consignee? What is the purpose of these particular gadgets that came without document trail? What are they for? Could it be true and I hate to be an advocate of, do what we hear that they intend to do, what Ugandans did, to shut the internet on the day of the elections so that the election management of results is tampered with, would like to send a warning to you, ECZ. Those phones must be displayed by all interested parties and quarantined away, very far away from this electoral process. These are the things that bring consternation in a nation. These are the things that bring anxiety in a country. Judge Chulu, this is squarely on you, Bwana. Whose phones are those?
So that is about all we had for you on the Forgotten Stories segment, where we were just refreshing your memories on what used to happen a few years back, and we did look at some stories from 2020 and from 2021. In 2021, we did look at a story where President Edgar Lungu had visited Mbala, and also where the UPND were trying to find out about some consignment that came together with the ballot papers. And also in 2020, we did look at a story about the issuance of national registration card, and of course a donation that we saw for the Healing Word Ministries. So those are some of the stories that we were looking at on the Forgotten Stories segment. We just refreshing your minds as regards those particular stories. Now, moving on, we take another short break, but when we come back, we are going to be looking at what is happening in the world of sport, especially the ongoing Women's World Cup in New Zealand and Australia.
It's time! Camnet TV brings to you an exciting kid show called My Creation. Join me, Sarah Chandamagazagia, to interact with kids with special skills and talents between the age range of 9 to 17. This show will come to you every Saturday at 13:30 on Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. You are still watching the Lunch Cafe on Camnet TV, and we were just looking at the Forgotten Stories segment. Now we get into sports, and we are going to be looking at what is happening at the ongoing World Cup, where Zambia, South Africa, Nigeria and Morocco are representing Africa. And we did have some games yesterday that involved one African team, and in this case it was Zambia, and they did play Costa Rica, and the Copper Queens proved to be too strong for Costa Rica, beating them by 3-1. In that particular game, records were broken. Lushomo Mwemba became the first Zambian to score a goal at the World Cup when she scored in the 2nd minute of that particular game. And also Barbara Banda scored the 1000th goal of the Women's World Cup. in that particular game, also when she scored from a penalty. And also Rachel Kundananji scored in added time to give Zambia the victory. So Zambia 3 and Costa Rica 1. In the other game, in Group C, that was played yesterday, at the same time Zambia was playing, Japan was playing Spain, and the Japanese proved to be too strong in this group because they went ahead to win all their 3 games. They beat Zambia, they beat Costa Rica, and yesterday they beat Spain. Japan emerged top of the group by beating Spain by 4-0. So they are group leaders there, and they are followed by Spain. Even if they lost yesterday's game, they beat Zambia and they also beat Costa Rica. So they proceed also to the next round of the World Cup. So those were the games played yesterday. And in Group D, we did have Republic of Ireland taking on Nigeria, and they drew 0-0. And the other game, Canada and Australia, Canada went down to Australia by 4-0. Another high-scoring game there in Group D, where Australia scored 4 past Canada in that particular game. The other games were played this morning. This should be the highest scoring game at the World Cup, where Netherlands scored 7 past Vietnam. So Netherlands 7, Vietnam 0. And then in the other game, the United States survived the scare. They drew with Portugal 0-0. Now this game was very interesting because had Portugal scored, the current champions and the best footballing nation as regards women, United States, would have bowed out of this particular tournament. But they did go ahead to pick up a point which proved to be very, very vital for them to continue on this in this particular tournament. The other games are live right now as we speak. England is leading China by 1-0, and that particular game is 9 minutes into that particular game. And also the other one is Haiti and Denmark is still 0-0 and is being played right now. This is a tricky group. England, however, look to be on course to qualify, and China also, but we will wait and see the results that will come out from that particular group. So the games to be played tomorrow, South Africa will be playing Italy. Italy is just from that humiliating defeat against Sweden. They hope to get a result in that particular game, but South Africa also have not won a game at this particular tournament. They might want to end the run on a high, as Zambia did yesterday. So they may want to get a victory against Italy, but that won't be as easy. And then in the other game, Sweden will be taking on Argentina at 9 hours tomorrow. Those are the games to look out for at 9. And then at 12 hours, Panama will be playing France. France already through, but they need to lead to top the group. And if they are to top the group, they will need to beat Panama. And Panama is not a pushover. They gave Brazil a good run, but Brazil beat them by 4-0. The other game is Brazil and Jamaica. Jamaica also are proving to be a strong team that won't give up easily. So Brazil really need to beat Jamaica if they are to continue, because they beat Panama and lost to France. They are on 3 points. If they are to proceed, they need to beat Jamaica. Another African team that is involved in this tournament is Morocco, and tomorrow they take on, on Thursday, the 3rd of August, they take on Colombia. Now, Colombia is a very interesting team that has played very interesting football at this particular tournament, with Linda Caicedo being one of their interesting players who sank Germany in the previous game. So Morocco will be taking on Colombia tomorrow at 12, and the other game, Germany will be taking on South Korea. Now, both these teams have been troubled at this particular tournament. Germany lost to Colombia by a goal to 0, and they take on South Korea. They are on the verge of being booted out of that particular tournament. Round of 16, the teams that are qualifying, we will see Switzerland taking on Spain. This is a group that Zambia was with Zambia. Of course, Spain versus Switzerland at 7 hours on Saturday. And the other game, we will see Japan taking on Norway at 10 hours on a Saturday, the 5th of August 2023. Now, Netherlands will take on a team that is expected. The winners of is that Group D, winners in Group D will take on Netherlands, and the other team will play the United States of America. So United States of America has qualified to the next round. Netherlands has qualified to the next round. They wait for their opponents who are playing today, tomorrow, or Thursday. And then Nigeria also has qualified to the next round, and they are waiting for their opponents who play either today or tomorrow. Either tomorrow or Thursday, and also Australia are waiting for their opponents. So that's the round of 16 games to be played today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Those are the fixtures and of course the results of the games that were played before then. Let's see if we can get to the standings and see how the groups are ending this particular tournament. So Group A, Switzerland is leading. They've played 3 games and they have won 1 and drawn 2, which means they are on 5 points and lead that particular group. And then as Norway is second, they played 3 games, they won 1, they drew 1 and lost 1. They are on 4 points and they are qualifying. They are moving to the next stage because of the goal difference. As you can see, they did score, they have a goal difference of 6, and then Netherlands, New Zealand only has a goal difference of 1. Now Norway beat Philippines by 6 goals to 0. That is what is giving them that particular advantage. Now Philippines played 3 games, won 1, lost 2, and did not draw any particular game. They have 3 points and they are packing as well. In Group B, the interesting group, Australia played 3 games. They won 2, drew 0, and then lost 1. And their goal difference is 7 against the goal first is 7 against 3, and the difference is 4, and they lead that particular group. And then the next is Nigeria. They are second. They have also qualified. They played 3 games. They won 1, drew 2. They have 5 points. The goal difference is 1. So Canada and the Republic of Ireland, unfortunately, have to pack their bags just like Zambia and Costa Rica in Group C, because Costa Rica played 3 games, did not win any of those games, and forced only 1 goal, and they conceded 7. And they conceded 8, and the goal difference is -7. So in the next team there is Zambia. They played 3 games, they won 1, they drew 0 and lost 2. They forced 3 goals and conceded 11 goals, and the goal difference is -8. they are also going back home. The two teams that have qualified, Spain and Japan, they played. Japan played 3, they won 3, and they have 9 points. Spain played 3, won 2, lost 1. They have 6 points, so they do also qualify to the next round. In Group D, England is currently leading by a goal to nil against China. They top that particular group. They've played 3 games. As things stand, they will have won 3 games if it continues as is now, where they are leading by a goal to nil, and then their first 3 goals against nil, and the goal difference is 3, so they have 3 points if it ends as is now. Denmark is in the second position. They've played 3 games. They've won 1, they've drawn 1, they've lost 1. If it continues as it is now, then Denmark will go through with 6 points. Now this is Denmark will go ahead with 4 points. Now this is very tricky, because if China scores now, then it will be England 1 and China 1. Then it will push China, because they are on 3 points now, it will push China to 4 points, and then Denmark is also on 4, and then the point difference is Denmark is still better there, because they have not conceded, unless Haiti scores against Denmark, and then things change, because they will also be at -1 as regards the points difference. So this is very, very tricky. China should score, and then Haiti also should score if China is to go through in that particular game. But if Denmark scores, then China is completely out of this tournament. The next group is Group E. Netherlands is through comfortably with 7 points, and then the United States also is through with 5 points. But there are still games to be played tomorrow. Let's see the possibilities of Portugal qualifying. Portugal have played 3 games. They've won 1, they've drawn 1, and then they've lost 1. This one, no, they are out. Looking at Germany, United States, they've played 3, they've won 1, they've drawn 2, which gives them 5 points, and the Germany is Portugal is out. Vietnam is out for this one. The next one is France. The next one is Group F, rather. France tops that particular group. They've played 2 games. They've won 1, they've drawn 1, and they face Panama today. Jamaica have played 2 games. They've drawn 1, they've won 1. They are on 4 points. US also is on 4 points. Brazil, this one I think is still wide open. Brazil has played 2 games. They've won 1, they've lost 1, they've drawn 1. They've won 1, they have lost 1, and they have not drawn any. So they are on 3 points. So if Brazil beat Jamaica today, then they qualify with 6 points, while if France beats Panama, they also qualify on 6 points. But France will lead the group, because head to head they beat Brazil. So Brazil is looking to displace Jamaica on the 2nd position, so they may qualify to that particular to the round of 16. Group G has Sweden, Italy, and South Africa and Argentina. Let's look at the possibilities of South Africa going through in this particular fixture. Now, South Africa is facing Italy, and Italy has played 1 game. They've won 1, they've drawn 0, and they've lost 1 game. They are on 3 points. South Africa has played 2 games. They have not won any. They've drawn 1, and they have lost 1. They are on 1 point. Now, if South Africa beats Italy today, they will go to 4 points, and they will go to 4 points and dislodge Italy. So South Africa really needs to win their next game against Italy, and then they will qualify to the next round, and Italy will be booted out. Argentina and Sweden, if Argentina win against Sweden, they will go to 4 points. No, this one is still wide open now, because if Argentina win against Sweden, It depends on the number, of course, but if they do, they will go to 4 points as well. That is, if also South Africa wins, they will also go to 3 points. And then head to head, these teams drew 2-2, and then they also they both have a difference of -1. So it's still open. That is, if Argentina beats Sweden and South Africa beats Italy, that's when the complication will come in. As things stand, Italy and Sweden are best positioned to qualify to the next round. But the last games are very, very important for all the 3 teams, Italy, South Africa and Argentina, because Sweden is already in the round of 16. Group H is another group that has an African team. Let's look at the chances of them going through. Colombia is through. They have won both games. They have 6 points. Germany have won 1 game and have lost 1. They are on 3 points. Morocco, they've won 1, lost 1. They are on 3 points as well. So this is, the point difference is -5, Morocco and Germany negative. So the only outcome that will save Morocco is an outright win. They need to win their last game in order for them to proceed. And Germany needs to avoid defeat by all costs to qualify to the next round. I think they need a win to qualify to the next round, because if Morocco win, no, Germany just needs to avoid a loss, because they have a point difference or a goal difference of -5, and Morocco has a goal difference of -5, which means if it ends as it is now, Germany will go through and Morocco will be booted up. So Morocco need a win to go to 6 points, and then they qualify to the next round. Those are the World Cup fixtures and standings as of today. That is how they look like, and we do hope that Morocco can win their last game to qualify to the next round, and also South Africa can win their next game to qualify to the next round, so they can join Nigeria in the round of 16 at the ongoing Women's World Cup in New Zealand and Australia. On that sporting note, we come to the end of today's lunchtime cafe. We hope that you did enjoy the program, but don't forget to join us again tomorrow at 12 when we come to you with another exciting program. On behalf of the entire production team, have a blessed afternoon.